Right now, we have a set of certifications at Spryker for a variety of things that I'll talk through in a second that enable people to uh, get their certification that they can display on LinkedIn to validate their skills, more knowledge than skills right now. Since I started at Spryker 2.5 years ago, we haven't changed the process too much. We've updated the certification exams. We've added a couple of new ones. But we haven't looked at the process involved in customers, partners, Sprykeys, people within the company itself as well, getting certified and demonstrating their abilities, their understanding, their knowledge, their skills on the Spryker platform and potentially other areas of the Spryker ecosystem as well. We've been having some thoughts about what we could do, but rather than us just going, right, we're now changing our entire certification program and this is your new opportunity to get certified. I want to kind of get some input from you, get some feedback, tell me what you think. And I think this is a perfect opportunity, the perfect place to do that. So ultimately, everything that we do at Spryker in the Academy team is designed to increase knowledge, increase ability, increase skill around our platform. And in my mind, it's this infinite loop. And some people will just kind of look at the learning loop and think about learning and doing. We do have another part of our infinite loop here, which is also sharing. And there's a part of that on the right-hand side. But ultimately, the journey from zero knowledge on a particular subject through to being able to actually do what you need to do with the piece of the product itself, whatever it is that you're out there doing, involves some kind of testing, examination, quizzing, evaluations, or in our case, all of those things, plus certification. And kind of the loop starts down at the bottom here, and gradually it's, okay, what the hell is this thing? To, oh yeah, I get it. To, hey, I'm going to go and do my certification, and I'm the greatest person in the world. I know everything there is to know about Spryker. That will never be the case, even if you're certified. Through to when you actually start getting into the gaining experience of, oh, didn't quite know as much as I thought I did. I've got the certification, but now I'm doing it. I'm learning, I'm understanding more about the reality of using the product with our customers, with our company. And going through the loop of, okay, gaining more experience, and then maybe going to the next layer of a certification of learning, of contributing back as well in the community through these meetups, through threads in a community, or even in some cases, our ultimate aim is to have our ecosystem, our community contributing into our learning experience. And I can talk about that a little bit later in the year when we get to that point. But today, our certification effectively looks like this, right? It's one single layer across a variety of paths. So the majority of our users will go through a developer-focused certification, which involves completing a bunch of learning and then going, right, I think I'm ready. And typically this is before anybody has worked on a project, right? So you kind of go to the training, you do some e-learning maybe, you play around with the Docker instance, the demo shops, and then you go, right, I'm ready to do my certification. And you do the certification and you go, yes, got certified, you get your certificate, and then you forget about it for a year until Spryker bugs you and says that your certification is ending. And at which case you take that certification again. And it's pretty much the same process, right? So you take almost the same exam. Some of it will have been updated previously, but there's no kind of gradual path to get to where you want to go. It's all or nothing approach effectively. And we have that same approach across all of our certifications, and it works. People appreciate it. They get their certifications. They post their certifications on social, LinkedIn in particular, and come back the next year and get certified. But in my mind, it's not it doesn't align with the way that we want our learning to be built, to grow through a path of a learning plan that starts from zero and gains skill, does some practice, go to the next level, gain some more skill, and practice again. So that's kind of why we're evaluating what's going on with our certification, where we might go in the future. As I say, we haven't made any decisions yet. We've got an idea of what we'd like to do, but we're still working on it, and getting some feedback now is crucial to that process. One of the things to support this feedback, obviously this is just one session, there is a new channel in our community. The link is in the Miro board. Lauren, I assume that you'll share the Miro board link if you haven't already with the audience. Okay, there's a link in that Miro board which will take you to the Future of Certification channel in the Slack community. And I'm going to be using that channel along with my team to kind of gauge opinions, run some polls on a greater set of people after this meetup, and see what people's thoughts are. Because ultimately, the aim for certification is there's two parts to it. There's the benefit to Spryker, and then the benefit to you as the learner, to the person who's going to get certified. Okay. In fact, I'm going to skip to that kind of now. For Spryker, we have a lot of internal benefits to certification, and some I've put on here, some I haven't, because they're kind of internal reasons that we do it. You can probably imagine what they may be. But from a Spryker perspective, our ultimate aim with certification is to ensure that somebody who is certified is able to go and work on a project as possible. Okay. If I'm talking to you and you're a partner, then a partner company doesn't want their staff sitting on the bench learning when they should be billable, right? So the quicker we can get some scratch to prove their knowledge, to prove their skill, and that's key in, I'll call that out a lot through the session, to prove their skill, it's important to get those people there as quickly as possible so that projects can be staffed, deals can be done with potential customers, etc. From a customer perspective, the benefits are a little bit different, but for a partner, that's one of the important parts of it. If a customer is doing the implementation themselves, then obviously it's a validation of skill for their business, that they're able to go through and work with Spryker as a developer, or work with Spryker as a product owner, as a solution architect, which we also have now in the path. But implementation of successful projects is important. That's what we want to improve across the board. For us, it's also creating brand awareness. One of the big projects that's ongoing in Spryker right now, and he's walking towards me actually, someone that Lauren works very closely with, Guido, and the community team. Obviously, a big part of that is creating awareness amongst the community of what we're doing, creating awareness of our brand, and then also reversing that is creating people within our community, ambassadors, advocates, experts in the community, that are able to help other people. And certification is a big part of that. The trust that people should put in somebody who is identified in the community. That's one of the plans. I won't say too much, Lauren, because that's for you later at some point, I'm sure. But we want to be able to identify within the community platform that somebody is certified, which gives people more of an expectation that person is giving them an answer from experience rather than from inexperience, potentially. Not always the case, but that's something we'd like to use. From the flip side, obviously from a learner perspective, there are a variety of reasons, and I'm going to ask you each. I'm not going to do it through a poll because we have a small group. It's probably easier just for you to unmute and shout out to me. But from a learner perspective, there are a few different things. One is showing your knowledge within your business, right? So yeah, I know Spryker. Can I come work on Spryker projects? The other is checking your knowledge and your skill. So does it meet the requirements that Spryker would expect? Keeping up to date with skills and knowledge. And then one that probably isn't for the businesses, but for you as an individual, is exposure to a hiring market, right? We all, regardless of what we say, we're always looking at the market and seeing where we might fit in a different company, in a different business. So having those skills on your CV, on your LinkedIn is always useful, because you never know what opportunities are going to lie around the corner. My question to you at this point, and feel free to unmute, I have no issue with that, is why would you get certified? What are your reasons for, as an individual, getting certified, for your company to get certified, or the opposite? Why is certification not interesting to you if that's the case? something that we're thinking about, and we haven't made any decisions, as I said to you before. We're still contemplating, but we're actually starting to think about rather than having a single certification, and this may be controversial to some people, and it's like, oh, there's more stuff to go on. Actually, building levels of skill through certifications. So rather than just say you do one exam, done, and you know everything there is to know about Spryker, which obviously we know is not the case. Even if you probably get to level 4, you're not, in this screenshot anyway, you're not necessarily going to know everything there is to know about Spryker. But it gives you the ability as a learner to gradually build up. And part of that is the gamification that was mentioned earlier. Part of it is to learn some and get the payback for getting your first layer of certification. Great, I know the basics. I've covered that off. Now I can get into the next layer, which is going to give me more complexity, a deeper understanding, the possibility that I'm going to get tested on deeper topics, maybe some hands-on experience along the way as well. So one of the things we're contemplating, it's quite common in the industry, Amazon does this very well, is that we start looking at layering these certifications into multiple levels. And we're not locked into the exact specifics of these, but this is one example that we've come up with. And part of this would be that, for example, we would roll out a 2023 certification, right? So if the certification in 2023 for the first time, then you are certified at level 1, if that's the one that we go to, forever, effectively. So this actually isn't from the Amazon playbook. This is more from the Microsoft playbook, whereby you get certified on the Spryker platform, and that certification lives forever, but at the 2023 version, right? And then in 2024, to Jochen's point, is we're not testing you with the same things again. We might sneak some questions in that kind of show the knowledge from the previous exam, but interspersed with that, if I can speak properly, would be information about what's changed in Spryker in the last year. So the 2024 version is going to be an update version for those people that were already certified, and for those people that weren't certified already, it could be a full certification again, but the 2024 version. So yeah, to Jochen's point, having to do the same thing again gets boring, and we're testing you on things that you've already used probably for a year, and we're not just showing you the new stuff. Obviously, the important part there is not just testing you on the new stuff, but creating learning for the new features, for the new best practices, for the new code base that we're pushing out to our customers and to our partners. So I think that's really the route that we're thinking about taking, is to build these layers out, and as well as proving knowledge, we want to be able to prove skill. Okay, so the further up this leveling you get, if you get to level 3, that may be enough for your company that you're able to go through and answer the questions effectively. They're quite a deep level of understanding, but it's not testing any practical. But for me, I want to be able to test my practical skills as well, and I want to be able to demonstrate that my practical skills actually work, and show to my business or to my company or to my colleagues that I know how to do it. And actually, it shows that from a partner perspective, as a company, we have people who have met the requirement of being able to do, not just understand and answer questions. It's a big distinction between the two. So yeah, that's something that we're tinkering with, and ultimately it could look something like that, right? So everybody needs to go through the level 1 of the foundational knowledge. So for a developer, there will be a foundational developer content. Level 2, more in depth, getting your Spryker certified developer. And then level 3 then brings in more and more topics. So that may include more deeper coding examples, evaluating code, writing code snippets that need to be evaluated along the way. And then ultimately getting into different specialisms along the way as well here. So you can see a level 2, maybe there's a solution architect. We do have a solution architect exam certification that's just been rolled out. But that will be at a level 2. And then in the level 4, we've got OMS solution architect, for example. So we can gradually build these things up across different paths to get more and more knowledge, to get more and more skill, to then be able to prove that skill along the way. So That's something that we're tinkering with. We are evaluating with across different companies how they're doing it. Obviously, the companies like Amazon and Microsoft and Salesforce are held as the top best way of doing these things. So we're looking at a lot of those platforms. The difference with them, they also have 2,000 people in a learning organization. We're not quite there in Spryker yet, so we have to kind of understand where we can pull the best points of this and move forward gradually. So yeah, that's kind of what we're thinking right now.